Then let's get started. Hello, everybody. Just to give you like a small introduction, this is actually my very first ever live stream. Like, not just the YouTube live stream or my first ever YouTube live stream, but my first ever live stream in general. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm just a little bit nervous, but we'll see how it goes. I've tested this extensively just to iron out all the kinks, just playing around with the bit rate and trying to make it work because I want to play a video during this live stream as well. And I've always had trouble with this before, so hopefully it works out. Yeah, and thank you so much for joining. So just to give you a brief overview of what I wanted to cover. Oh, it looks like there's 2 viewers now. Excellent. Just don't be shy, just say hello so I know who you are. Yeah, brief overview of what I wanted to cover. So I have a little bit of new merch here. Then I wanted to share some stories about my recent fishing trips, wanted to show some photos, and then I actually have a brief video prepared as well, where I basically just tested some flies, and it's topwater bluegill fishing from early spring, and the flies that I tested worked surprisingly well. So I made like a really brief video that I wanted to play. And yeah, I also have this box here from Redington that I just recently received, and it's like sort of bittersweet, and I'll explain in more detail why. And yeah, and then at the end, I also want to give people like a chance to speak with me and basically like let me know what you guys would like to see. You know, if you really like the bass content or if you like the trout content better, or what kind of content you prefer. So since the viewer count is still relatively low, so I think I'm gonna start with the unboxing. And I just want to talk about this really quick. A couple of oh, somebody dropped. Okay, that's fine. Oh, it's Eric. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Welcome to my live stream. So yeah, I wanted to talk about what happened, and that is basically I broke my rod again. And the last time that happened was in fall, and honestly, like it hasn't happened to me for I think 5 or 6 years or something like that, and now it suddenly broke within I don't know a couple of months. I already made a video about reordering a rod tip when it first broke, and that was in fall. And like I said, it just happened again. I was in a small mountain stream and I was climbing over rock, and there's always super thick brush that you have to crawl through. And I somehow got stuck with my rod and my line in a tree behind me. And suddenly I noticed the pole, and then I walked backwards. And when I walked backwards, the rod tip bent a little bit, and then I was trying to reach up again, like trying to get it out, and I just could hear the click. And at that point, I already knew from experience, because it happened to me before and I heard that noise before, that something broke. And I looked at my rod tip, and it's funny because at first I didn't really see it, and I thought, oh, okay, everything is fine, everything's great. And then I looked down at it and like, oh no, my rod tip is broken. So yeah, it happens. Thankfully, I had a backup rod with me, and I really learned from my mistakes. Like I said, that happened to me before, and it really stinks when you're in the middle of nowhere and you just walked in there. You may have caught like a fish or two, been there on a stream rod. Yeah, yeah. It's always the top eye, isn't it? Yeah. And it really stinks when you hike in there, and maybe you've caught like a fish or two, and then suddenly your rod breaks, and you stand there with no backup rod, and you have to end the trip early. It's really terrible. So I learned from my mistakes. I always carry a backup rod with me. So yeah, let's open this package here. I think that's probably the most uninteresting part to viewers, but I promise you it will probably get better after that. Because I have a little bit of merch to unbox as well. So let's just quickly open this and let me show you how they actually arrive. If it's any different from the last time I ordered a rod tip. It's a whole bunch of paper in here. So the last time it came in a tube. Okay, so the last time it also came in a tube, but the tube was a lot thicker. This time the tube is very much thinner. So Redington must have learned from this, trying to reduce cost to make the rod or the little tube that the tip comes in a lot thinner. Probably saves material. But I gotta tell you, and I have I brought some receipts with me too. Like the cost of the rod tip has actually increased. And I'll show this next. Right after I open this thing. If I can get it open. Oh yay. Now we're up to 5 viewers. Excellent. It doesn't want to come out. You have to open up the other end. Ah, here we go. Okay, great. Here is my brand new rod tip. And no doubt looks exactly like the old one. Perfect. Brand new and shiny. Okay, now to the cost. Like I said, it happened to me in fall of last year. Oh, hi Jen from Virginia. Wow. Quite far. Okay. So let me get rid of this fish. This was the cost of the rod tip when I got the replacement in fall of last year. It was $25, shipping $10 and a little bit of taxes. The rod itself costs about $200 right now, so it's actually not bad. It's better than buying a brand new rod, and it's actually a really good rod. It's a decent performance rod, and for the price, like $200, you really can't beat the price. This rod is excellent. But now the cost has increased. So let me show you the new receipt. Here you go. The replacement tip increased by $5. But the shipping is the same, and the taxes, of course, increased. So now we're at $42 for a rod tip replacement in total. I mean, it's still not bad. It's still better than buying a brand new rod. Oh, can't really complain about that. All right. Then other unboxing stuff. Let me put my fish up here again. And go to the next box. And this is actually some merch. I don't know what kind of merch is in there. I know it's probably hats or something, or maybe t-shirts. No, it looks like it's all hats, but at least I can show you the hats. So, looks like in total there's 4 in there. So here we go. This is the same hat as I'm wearing here, but in a different color. This one would be light blue. It's pretty nice. I like these hats a lot. And I think this is the very same hat, but in color black. What I really like about these hats is the embroidering. Like I've seen people, or I've seen hats online that look pretty cool, but the hats are not embroidered. It's just a printed on a trucker cap. I like these embroidered hats a lot better. And then it looks like we have 2 more of the same hat that I'm wearing, which is the light green and dark green colors. Oh no, wait, there's actually more. Oh yeah, it's actually 3 of these. So if you're interested, they're up on my Astrofishicist store, or if you're on TikTok, you can also get them on TikTok. Maybe actually on TikTok it's better, because sometimes they have promotions in there. So I noticed this today, or no, yesterday. I noticed that yesterday when I went onto TikTok, something popped up and they offered me a 50% discount. So if you're interested in buying anything, all of my merch is available on the TikTok store. And if you're lucky enough and you go on there and they offer you a 50% discount, I would take it, and then you can spend it wherever you want to. You can also spend it on the fly rod that I have on there. It's $200. So if you get 50% off on any item, you can basically get it for half price. That would be a really good deal. Okay, so unboxing is done. Then I wanted to show a few more photos. So let's pull up the next photo here. And this is from a bass that I recently caught at the Los Angeles River. And I wanted to talk about this one a little bit more too. Oh, sorry, I just got a comment in here. It says only available on TikTok. So no, it's available actually. If you go to my website on YouTube at Astrofishicist, yeah, there should be a link in my bio that goes directly to my store. But what I was saying is that it's also available on the TikTok store. And like I said, sometimes TikTok offers a discount of, like, I got a discount of 50% on any item that I see there. So like I said, if you want to save some money, 50% is pretty good as a discount. Yeah, my pleasure. All right, back to this fish. The reason why I'm so excited about this fish is I went fishing in early spring and the water was freezing cold. I thought it was warm enough to actually fish and catch something, and the bite was on, the fish were active, but not so much. It was really, really tough actually. It was pretty much still like winter fishing. And yes, you can catch good fish in the winter, but you have to slow down the fishing so much. It's basically, you have to let the flies just sit there and then like move them just slightly inch by inch. And so it was really tough fishing. I thought the fish would be more active, turned out they were not. But I managed to catch this one amongst a few others. And the reason why I thought this fish was so special is because it was actually the largest fish, or sorry, the largest bass that I caught there in terms of length. And I want to preface this. This is the largest bass I ever caught at the Los Angeles River, not in Los Angeles. I've had a few larger ones in small roadside creeks, but I always thought at the Los Angeles River, the bass especially, they stop around 15 to 16 inches because there's not much room for them to grow. The whole creek is pretty shallow, and it's just not an exciting environment. Do I use different flies during the winter? Yes, absolutely, I do. And I actually had to for this one. So during the spring, you can go to different flies. Like I always use a woolly bugger. I'm really a big fan of the thin mint woolly bugger. The thin mint woolly bugger goes really well during spring and into the summer. And then late summer to fall, the brighter flies go really well. And then in the winter time, I have to switch to darker flies. So in the winter time, I primarily fish a woolly bugger, a really, really large one. I like the colors black or dark brown for the woolly buggers. And I really like it when they have legs tied in. Like legs tied in into any kind of fly disturbs the water slightly. And these fish, especially bass, they're geared in towards this. So but this one, oh yeah, sorry, that was just one fly. So I like woolly buggers, and then the other fly that I really like during the winter is a mudlar minnow, and especially a heavily weighted mudlar minnow. I don't have one with me right now. I would have to grab my fly box. But a mudlar minnow that has a really big heavy cone head, and what this does is you can slowly strip the mudlar minnow so it goes up slightly and then it sinks really slowly. And like I said, in the winter time, it has to be or should be a weighted mudlar minnow because a mudlar minnow is made from deer hair, and the deer hair are hollow. So typically the fly swims a little bit, and it's the fly that stands in the upper water column. But in the winter time, you want to fish really, really deep. So like I said, mudlar minnow in the wintertime has always produced for me really, really well. And the one thing that is to note for fishing or fly fishing for bass in the winter is you have to slow down everything. You have to slow down the retrieve so much. Normally in spring or summer, you can strip it in really fast. In the wintertime, you have to like do it really slowly. You want to crawl the fly across the bottom. Or in the case of a madla minnow, you want it to slowly rise and then slowly sink again. So yeah, I caught this one on a madla minnow, and back to the subject here, I was really excited about it because that fish was 17.5. And for whatever reason, whenever I hold it up in front of the camera, like in front of me, it doesn't look that large. Given that the tail is actually not in the photo here, maybe I can let me see if I can actually move it over to the side a little bit. You can see it's a long tail there. But I have another photo that actually confirms the measurement, and I also have it on video. And yeah, so that's lengthwise, that was the best bass I ever caught there. In terms of weight, probably not. I've caught fatter ones there, but the fatter ones typically were during the fall when they try to fatten up. I don't know what happened with this fish. I don't know if it was getting ready to spawn. I think that was the case. I don't think it was post spawn. And the temperatures in Los Angeles have been kind of weird. It got really hot during the end of the winter, but then the temperatures cooled down again and the fishing was just not on. Anyway, let me show you the other photo that I have for this fish, and you can see it here at the bottom. Maybe I can wait. Let me see if I can move it down a little bit. Not so much. Okay, but you get the idea. And I'll make a video about this. This is like the last fish that I haven't processed. All the other fish that I caught that day are already in the video. This is the one that I haven't done yet. But you can see it on the video where I basically put the tape measure or the measuring strip on the head and then go all the way down. You can see that it's somewhere around 17.5 inches. So I was super happy about this. And he jumped for me too. He jumped a couple of times. Although whenever a fish jumps, I always get nervous now in case they shake the fly. Okay, what else? Yeah, I wanted to show a little or a brief video about that day, and you see the video is already on, so get rid of all of this. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about this too. I don't know what happened here. Yeah, it was super cold. I already mentioned this. It was in early spring. The water was freezing, but then suddenly I noticed just a little bit of surface activity, and I just noticed like one fish coming up to the surface. I didn't know what it was, but I had an idea. I thought it would be a bluegill, and I've gotten some flies recently from Candy Flies for me to try out, and he sent me like a teeny tiny box. You can see it right here. And this box included some dry flies, and this one is the candy catskill fly. And so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna try to fish some dry flies, see if any bluegill are willing to bite. And as soon as I tied on that fly, like the first couple casts, man, that fly was going off. I could not believe this. I was really skeptical about, or like I don't know, I couldn't believe how well these flies actually went. And yeah, I mean, look and see for yourself here. Right. Here's the video.
I know it's early in the season, but I just saw some surface activity here.
So I mentioned this, right? And then this is literally the very first cast.
What I saw, sumo bluegill, and here we go. Already had a first bite. I'm using my candy flies today. See how well they go. I mean, there was already demonstration. I already had like the very first bite here. Oh, there we had one. Okay, let's try it a little bit to the left here. Oh, immediately take. I hope you saw that. Oh, there was another one. have to dry out this fly a little bit.
Yeah, the one thing though that bothered me a little bit was I was fishing with fluorocarbon as a leader, and fluorocarbon sinks, so it always dragged down the fly, so it got wet really fast, so I had to dry it out a couple of times.
Oh, immediately had another take. All right, here we go. Here's the candy fly again.
See, I even showed the fly, and that was like right after I dried it out.
And now let's get it back into the water here. And get him. But I had another take. Back in there. Let it drift. I have a feeling that this fly might be a little bit too large. Right.
Yeah, so after a while I noticed like I tied on actually the largest one of the flies that David has sent me, and I knew I had to downsize because I kept on missing the fish, and I had a feeling that these fish were just really small. So I downsized the fly, and that's what I'm fishing in the rest of this clip.
Yeah, there we go. I got him. Nice little bluegill. Give him a net. Oh, here we go. Oh, he already shook the fly because it's barbless. But here we go. Here's a little bluegill. And let me show you the fly. It's a small candy fly.
Yeah, here we go. And then, oh yeah, and I wanted to put the link to the fly actually in the video description. So let me do this right now. Me copy this and back over here. So you should be able to see the fly right now, or link to the fly. Oh, okay. Thank you, Eric. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Right. Hopefully everything goes well for you tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna post this video also on YouTube probably tomorrow, and then I also have to edit this large bass in, and then I'll probably make a separate post with this larger fish in there. So yeah, anyway. That's this video. Okay. But a couple of more things that I wanted to cover. Also, I'm racing through this stream here. Whenever I practice this stream, I don't know, my live streams were always then like around 30 minutes long, and now I feel like I'm mostly through all of material that I had prepared here, and I'm only at around 12 minutes or so, but we'll make it work. I mean, I can talk more about the flies that I've gotten from David. He sent me a whole box. I can show it to you right here of flies, which I'm excited to try. And there's a couple of custom flies in there that I requested, and I'm super happy about this. I can't wait to try those out. But I wanted to show more photos. Oh yeah, and I definitely want to talk about this catfish. So, the catfish, this one here. And I wanted to talk about why it was actually so special. And that is because I caught it in a super small mountain stream, and this fish was absolutely ridiculous. It's the largest catfish I've ever caught in a small mountain stream, and I don't even know how it got there. I know there's a lake actually several miles away, but I could not possibly imagine that catfish swimming that far. And I know we had a lot of rain, and it probably caused the lake to flood and go downstream, but it's really a large distance from that lake, but I would imagine it had to have come from that lake. But I don't know. It was just unbelievable to me that there's actually fish of that size in that lake. And just to tell you how large he was 20, somewhere between 26 and a half and 27 inches. And like I said, again, it doesn't look that large when I hold him up, but I have another photo where you can actually see the true size in comparison to my net. So yeah, I go up to that little mountain stream, and the water was actually really high, and I wasn't quite sure how the fishing was going to be. And oh yeah, and I was trout fishing. So this stream has like a whole bunch of small wild trout in it, and that's what I was prepared for. You know, fish for some trout, hopefully catch a couple of trout, and I actually caught a decent number of trout, at somewhere between 30 to 50. There's another video that I still have to make. I haven't even reviewed all the footage yet. But I do have a small photo as well of one of the better trout that I caught that day. And I'll show it after this catfish. So anyway, I walk through the brush there, and like just scanning the creek for access points, you know, where can I get in? And like I said, this creek is relatively shallow. It's like, you know, at most it's maybe waist to chest high at the deepest points. And even though the water was up, it was like not up that much. So I was walking by there, and I look in there, and I thought, like, is this a fish, or is this just a log or something in the water? And so I try to walk around and sneak up from behind to that fish, and I wasn't quite sure what's gonna happen. And typically, once you see the fish, typically what happens is that the fish also sees you, and then it's spooked and doesn't bite. But I really took my time with this fish. I tried to approach it really, really slowly from behind, and try to get in there and try to get somewhat close to that fish so I can make a nice presentation right in front of the fish. And the fish was not moving, and I, you know, because I was fishing for trout, I was completely prepared for trout. And then, long story short, I ended up getting this fish and netting this fish. But this fish, it's a warm water fish, and it was freezing cold in this creek, so that fish was super lethargic. He didn't fight much at all, and it was basically just like as if you snatch something on the bottom and you just heavily like reel it in, and that's exactly what it felt like. But yeah, it was a 26 and a half to 27 inch catfish. And here's another photo of this fish, so you can hopefully better see how large it was. The reason why I don't know exactly how large this fish was because I was nervous I was going to lose that fish. Like I said, he was very lethargic, but sometimes when they're super lethargic and you try to measure them and you don't have your hand on the fish at all times, and suddenly they get a second wind and boom, they're off. And I was like shaking because I caught that fish and was like so massive. And then I was really trying to secure that fish somehow, but also at the same time not to torture that fish. So I was trying to keep it in the water, but at the same time trying to measure it. And he was always bending around at the tail. So, like I said, my best measurement that I got was somewhere between 26 and a half to 27 inches. It could be an inch more, could be an inch less, somewhere around there. But I was super happy, and it was the very first fish that I caught there that day. So absolutely amazing. That day turned out to be really, really, really good. And I also promised a photo of a trout. Here's one of the better trout that I caught that day. It's a little wild rainbow trout. That one was around 11 inches, I believe. And the fishing was actually really good. And just when I had to leave, it turned on. Like I came to a small run, and at that point I already figured out exactly where they're standing in every hole. And I fished it was like a small run that went into a pool, so I fished the head of the pool and then towards the run. And it was almost at every cast that I made, I caught another fish. It was absolutely unreal. But then it got dark and I had to hurry to my car, and it was like one of those days where I should have left an hour before I did, and was running through the bushes there while it was already dark. But it was definitely a day worth remembering for me. Yeah. So I don't know how far in I am. I've gotten 11 views so far. Amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I think I am pretty much towards the end of this. I don't know if people have any questions. I'll be happy to answer. Oh, I wanted to also like try to make a small poll here of what you would like to see more content of. Let me try this. I guess I could have prepared this ahead of time maybe, but what of and then let's do bass, let's do trout, let's do like panfish. The poll is coming up in just a second. Panfish like bluegill or green sunfish, and then let's like do something like let's see. Are you able to see the poll? Because I don't see anything. Is the poll shown up by shouting it out here into the void? And I know there's a delay in here too, because I can see myself here on the YouTube studio, but everything I say there's a large delay in there of at least a minute or so. Hey, okay. First results are coming in. All right. It's amazing. Actually, it went a lot better than I thought. I thought I'm gonna mess up and butcher everything. So while this is doing this, I think I'm just gonna play the video again so people have some entertainment. Video. Okay, let's start.
All right, I know it's early in the season, but I just saw some surface activity here. What I saw, Suma bluegill, and here we go. Already had a first bite. I'm using my candy flies today. Let's see how well they go. I mean, there was already demonstration. I already had like the very first bite here. Oh, there we had one. Okay.
And I just saw I got a new subscriber, so thank you so much for the sub. I should probably put like a live sub count in here or something. That would probably help. Anyway, let's keep going.
Let's try it a little bit to the left here. Oh, immediately take. I hope you saw that. Oh, there was another one. I have to dry out this fly a little bit. Oh, immediately had another take. All right, here we go. Here's the candy fly again. And now let's get it back into the water here. Didn't get him. But I had another take. Back in there. Adrift. I have a feeling that this fly might be a little bit too large. Alright. Oh. Yeah, there we go. I got him. Nice little bluegill. Give him a net. Oh, here we go. Oh, he already shook the fly because it's barbless. But here we go. Here's a little bluegill. And let me show you the fly. It's a small candy fly. Anyway.
Okay. Awesome. So I have 3 votes. Okay, I guess I'm gonna stop this poll then. And let's see where we are. And poll. Let's see if we see the results. Okay, now I actually see the results. Great. So pretty straightforward. Bass and trout. Okay. Actually, some of my favorite fish to fish for. But I do like fishing for green sunfish. Green sunfish are, they don't fight too hard, but they bite really hard. Like when a green sunfish bites, especially in the summer and in the fall, and you think like you have like big fish biting, and then it's usually just a small sunfish. I mean, they're really aggressive. They're fun to fish for, fun to catch. But I do like bass though, and I love trout fishing, of course, as well. So anyway, I think I'm gonna cut it here, unless somebody wants to say something and like contribute a little bit, like what you would like to see next. But I think this format actually works well, showing a couple of pictures, showing a video of, and telling people what I'm currently working on. And yeah, I really appreciate anybody tuning in, anybody who was here. Thank you so much, Jen, Eric, Christine, and anybody else who dialed in. Really appreciate it. And yeah, that's it for today. And I will do at least 2 more live streams, and then we'll see where we go from there. So thank you so much for the person who subscribed. Really appreciate it. And hopefully see you on the next one. Bye.